Archives Amonkhet. It was here from the Archives Amonkhet. It was April 2017 that this set was released. Personally, I was very excited when Wizard of the Coast announced an Egyptian themed set. We're talking about the age of masterpieces, or better known during that time as the lottery cards. And gosh, how excited it was opening one of those cards. During Amonkhet, there were no set booster boxes, there were no collector booster boxes, there were no lists. It was all about cracking these beauties. Let's start cracking this box. As I said, this is from the Archives Amonkhet. During that time, I was filming this type of box opening. I'm sorry about the poor quality of my camera, but during that time my camera wasn't that much good. But I think the beauty and the shyness of these gold packs, it's quite clear. Let's start the first pack, Hazard Favor. As I said, I really love Amonkhet. It was all about, in this particular box, finding one of those masterpieces of those invocations. And there were a couple of nice chase cards. This is one of those cycle lands. Chase cards, obviously, we're talking about Gideon of the Trials, one of the Planeswalkers. There were 3 Planeswalkers in Amonkhet. That is Gideon, Liliana, and Nissa. So it was nice to find one of those. Here's Liliana, Death's Majesty, one of the Planeswalkers in Amonkhet. During that time, I think the value of that card was around $10 to $12. Nowadays the value went down, but during that time it was nice to find one of those Planeswalkers, Liliana Planeswalkers. I'm a big fan of Liliana Planeswalkers. I really love to collect Liliana's Planeswalkers, so I was quite happy to finding Liliana Death's Majesty. More chase cards. There were the gods of Amonkhet. You have to know that in Amonkhet, people, the citizens of Amonkhet, loved their gods, and their gods loved their citizen. Contrary to Theros, in Theros here's its Glorybringer. That's a very good card. Was one of the best cards during that time in Standard. If I'm not mistaken, I think one of the World Championship was won thanks to Glorybringer, so you can imagine how strong that card was during that time in Standard. Here's Hapatra. I was saying that contrary to Theros, the gods on Amonkhet were loved by the citizens, while in Theros we see that the citizens of Theros were afraid of their gods. Here we see the contrary, where we see Gideon's intervention, where we see that the citizens of Amonkhet loved their gods. Amonkhet is one of the stories of the story arc of Nicol Bolas. Royal Karakar. The story arc of Nicol Bolas. The story arc of Nicol Bolas, which started with Kaladesh and eventually ended in War of the Spark with the defeat of Nicol Bolas. On Amonkhet, we see that Nicol Bolas is another Karakar. We see Nicol Bolas building his army. Thanks to the gods and thanks to the trials, he's building an army worthy of Nicol Bolas, which obviously we know that he's going to use it to invade Ravnica for the War of the Spark, to try and steal the Spark of Planeswalkers. In Amonkhet we had also these split cards. We found there cut I have 2 ribbons if I'm not mistaken. These were quite interesting, different split cards. Very different from Ravnica. In Ravnica you can choose to play one of the halves. In this case you can play from your hand the upper part of the split card, and then you can play the lower part of the split card from your graveyard. So it was quite an interesting mechanic. Let's see what we're going to find in this box. And a Hydra. You always find a Hydra in a Magic the Gathering set. I was saying that the land cycle of Amonkhet was the cycle lands. Quite poor cycle in my opinion. Wasn't that bad during that time. The cycle land, I'm talking about Standard, wasn't that bad, but wasn't that a strong cycle land like we have the Trio of Ikoria or the Pathways of Zendikar Rising. Something else that you can notice from this particular box. You can notice that we have the full art lands. There's a planes. For art lands, during that time, Wizard of the Coast were pushing to have full art lands in every Magic the Gathering set. I said that during Amonkhet there were no collector booster boxes, there were no set booster boxes or lists, so everything you can find was in your box, in your standard normal box. So there were these full art lens, which were being, they said they're going to put them in every set. Everyone started complaining about having too much full art lens, and eventually Wizard of the Coast did, there's Nahib, did a U-turn, and they removed full art lens from the standard set until Zendikar Rising, which obviously Zendikar, it's all about lens, so we need lens. Prowling Pepper Part, quite an interesting rare. So in Zendikar Rising, we expect that we had full art lens. So that's a little bit of a small history about these lens. Let's continue opening this box. Quite good. It's very nice to see these cards. I said it was April 2017 when I opened this particular box, the day that Amonkhet was released. There's a foil rare Sandware. During Amonkhet, the foil pull rate was quite high, or low in this case. It means that you would find less foils than today. And finding a foil, even a common foil, was quite a nice found. Oketra, the truth, one of the Amonkhet gods. Foil rate was quite low. The full foil pull rate was quite low. Therefore, finding a foil was quite good. Some foils, even at rare, were they quite get a quite good value. We're talking about $1 to $2. Glorious, and another mythic. Not very good, but still a mythic. Those are the 3 mythics for the time being from this box. I was saying that foils had a little bit of value during that time. Nowadays, with collector booster boxes, with multiple foils, with increase of foil pull rate, even rares, even mythics have very low value compared during that time. During that time, we're talking in 2017, which was not really that much time ago, a foil mythic was around $30 to $40. Nowadays, a foil mythic, if it's a really low mythic, it's around $4 to $5. So you can imagine how difference there is between the foil pull rate. Harsh Mentor was a very good card during that time. Was a very good red card during that time. Harsh Mentor was very good. Let's continue opening this box. Another thing about Amonkhet, something that there's the Vizier of Menagir, very good. Nowadays it's quite expensive. I think it's around $8 to $10. Vizier of Menagir. Amonkhet, during Amonkhet, I was still going to pre-releases, and I really miss going to pre-releases. Unfortunately, nowadays with the COVID-19, a lot of LGS have stopped hosting tournaments, including pre-releases. So you can imagine that I really miss going to pre-releases. And I must admit that during the pre-release of Amonkhet, first of all, I pulled a foil stamped card, Planeswalker Liliana Death Majesty, so I'm very happy about that card. But also I placed, if I'm not mistaken, second or third. I think I was third. So I was very happy during that particular pre-release. I really miss going to pre-releases, but as I said, unfortunately, with the virus, until the virus calms down, until things get better, I don't think that LGS will host more tournaments. Unfortunately, that's how life is going on. But I'm sure that in the future things will get better, and when things will get better, LGS will start to host more tournaments. Here it is, the invocation. You can see the border, different border for the invocation. I really love the invocations of Amonkhet. Yes, I know they are difficult to read. They are compared to Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yes, they are Egyptian. And there's the card. There's attrition. Attrition, unfortunately, it's very difficult to read the font of the card. Very difficult. Even during the time, I had very difficulty to read the card. But that's attrition, a foil invocation from Amonkhet. I was very happy to finding that card, even though I know that it's not one of the best invocations to find. I think value nowadays it's around $20 to $25. Not a very expensive card, but it's a masterpiece, and it's a masterpiece invocation. And I know that today, Approach of the Second Sun, that was a very good card. Not very expensive, but very good card. If you can cast it twice, you will win the game. Unfortunately, as I said, today with book stoppers, you find one Zendikar Rising Expedition in the box of Soul's Card Mage, another very good rare card from Amonkhet. You know that you're buying a box, you will find one of those masterpieces, so you know that at least you will have something. During that time, the pull rate of an invocation was 1.5 in every case, not box, every case. So it was very rare to pull one of those cards. So finding one card, it was already a big achievement. You can imagine how nice if you find one of the big cards. When I say one of the big cards, we're talking about Force of Will. That was the last card in this box, Never Return, one of the split cards. I hope you liked this box opening. I hope you liked this video. I tried to find these type of videos from my archive. I have a couple of box opening from my archives: Amonkhet, Hour of Devastation, Dominaria, Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan. Sets that nowadays it's very rare to find box opening. So I really hope that you like this video. I really hope you like opening this particular box and especially finding this beauty of a shiny card. As always, subscribe to my channel for more and more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world, and especially box opening of some old boxes of Magic the Gathering.